It looks like we are live. Let's get straight into this. I will be doing. Oh, my throat does not want to listen to me today. But anyway, I will be cooking up the most accurate mock draft you have ever seen in your entire life. I will be going 32 for 32 in my dreams. I'm fully aware that this isn't going to be accurate, but I've never really filled out one before, so I just want to try it. It'll be really fun. I'm not going to be doing any trades because how the hell are you supposed to predict that? Like, oh, I was supposed to see coming that when the Houston Texans took C.J. Stroud at 2, they immediately traded up to pick 3 to pick Will Anderson. You should have seen that coming, obviously. So yeah, trades are just too unpredictable to account for. So okay, let's just get straight into this. Titans at pick number 1. This is pretty obvious. But it wasn't for a while. I actually thought Shedeur Sanders was going to go to them for a while, but then Shedur's stock dropped, Cam Ward's went up, and I realized that the Titans aren't actually as stupid as I thought they were. So yeah, they're going to go Cam Ward number 1. No doubter there. Now for the Browns, this one is pretty a consensus what the consensus thinks now, but I actually thought this before the move to sign Joe Flacco was made. I always thought they were going to draft Travis Hunter because, I don't think that the Browns really want to give up on Deshaun Watson yet. They're still riding out that hope that, it wasn't a complete flop. And, I don't know what else to say. The Browns are the Browns, and they're just gonna say, "Hey, we have this shiny new piece here in Cleveland that people are gonna like us now, right? Right? No, not a chance. But they're gonna draft Travis Hunter at number 2. Those are now number 3, the Giants. They signed Russell Wilson. They signed Jameis Winston this offseason. So they need defense because they've gotten some bridge quarterbacks. So they're gonna go for Abdul Carter at number 3. I think he'll be a great addition to their team. Make their defense better. And who knows, maybe the offense with Malik Neighbors, combination with Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson, can make them a bit more dynamic. And with the addition of that defense, I think they could do better this year. Still not great because they're the Giants, but better. All right, now for the Patriots at 4. This is the first pick that I truly feel conflicted on. There's a chance that they take Tetron and McMillan. I don't think they do. That just doesn't seem like a Patriot pick. I know they need a wide receiver, but it just they don't make those kinds of picks, especially with Mike Vrabel coming in. He's more conservative, focus more on the offensive line. I feel like because their offensive line was still atrocious last year, it just wasn't talked about as much because their wide receivers were even worse. But they're going to take Will Campbell. I feel like that'll be great for Drake May to get some tackle help. It'll help him be more comfortable in the pocket and not have to run around for his life every single play. And with Stephon Diggs there, maybe their offense can get in rhythm. Now the Jaguars are a bit of a wild card here because they don't really have as obvious of needs as the other 4 teams. They're just mid. And it's hard to predict a pick for a team like this. So let me just go through these players, because I really don't know what I'm going to do. They don't need Genty. I don't see them drafting Tetron and McMillan. They just drafted Brian Thomas Jr. last year. And I think their wide receiver core is good enough for now, even though it does say that it's a need for them. I don't really feel the need. Think they feel the need to draft a wide receiver. Defensive line, I could see them doing. Yeah, defensive line, because their defense could use some improvement, even though everyone always talks about, oh, Trevor Lawrence is mid. Oh, the offense couldn't get it done. I think Liam Cohen coming in, as salty as I am about Liam Cohen as a Buccaneers fan myself, I do think he will improve the offense a lot. So I think focusing on defense is the better move for them. And Mason Graham looks like the best defensive lineman available. So I'm going to draft him. The Raiders. All right, I've been thinking about this. Oops, yeah, get that off the screen. This is where I'm gonna go away from a lot of people. Everyone and their mother thinks that the Raiders are going to draft Ashton Jeanty at number 6. I personally don't see them doing that. I think 6 is way too high for a running back. Number 8 was considered crazy for Bijan Robinson, and Bijan Robinson is just as good, if not better, of a prospect than Ashton Jeanty. You realize their current wide receiver 1 is Jacoby Myers, and they're in a win-now mode with Geno Smith and Brock Bowers and Pete Carroll. And they have an okay defense. It's not amazing, but it's better than people think. But it just hasn't had a chance to shine because their offense is so bad, and it's leaving them in bad spots. So I think the wide receiver core is more important than the running back. So I think at pick number 6, the Raiders are going to draft Ted McMillan. That's going to be crazy. It's going to make the Raider fans really mad. But hey, the Raiders make a lot of picks like that. And most of them don't work out. But I think if they draft Ted McMillan, it will work out. So the Jets at number 7. They could be in the market for a quarterback. Potentially. I don't know why wide receivers here. I know they lost Davante Adams in free agency, but they still have Garrett Wilson. I don't know the status of Allen Lazard either, to be honest. But I feel like wide receiver isn't the most important thing for them. Tackle and defensive line, I feel like, are better. Especially because I think 7 is way too early to draft Shedeur Sanders or any of the other quarterbacks available. So... not Jeanty. The ADP helps too, because I'm not always 100% sure on how players are viewed by the public, not just by PFF. So looking here, they need a tackle. I'm thinking they're going to draft Armand Membou. And this also checks out for another reason, and because the Jets have this weird obsession with picking players with weird names a lot. Like, they have the legend D'Brickashaw Ferguson, and they have some other ones that I can't really remember right now. Armand Membou is screaming New York Jet to me, so I'm going to draft him. All right, Carolina Panthers. They could be a team that could go crazy for Ashton Jeanty, but they signed Chuba Hubbard. I really think Chuba Hubbard is an underrated running back. Don't think they go there. I could see wide receiver here, possibly. They also could be a team in the market for Tyler Warren. I just feel like it's a little too early for that. All right, they need an edge rusher and a defensive back. Will Johnson, possibly? I'm thinking possibly Will Johnson. Let me just look through the board and see if there's like anyone that people are crazy high on that PFF isn't. All right, doesn't look like it. So we'll stick to the main board here, not go too far down. Luther Burden, I don't really see them taking Luther Burden. I think corner is where they most likely go here. Even though they did sign J.C. Horn to a big extension, an overpaid extension, by the way, I think corner is the most likely pick here, but it's just a matter of who. Do they take Juddy Barron out of Texas or Will Johnson out of Michigan? I'm not sure, and this is where I get exposed as a casual because I don't know which one's better. But considering Juddy Barron is higher in the public view and in the rank, I think the Panthers are going to go with that. So we're going to draft Juddy Barron on number 8. Number 9. There have been a lot of reports coming out about the Saints being the team to draft Shedeur Sanders. We just got the news about Derek Carr being out for almost the season. It's a very serious injury. We don't know all of the details, but we know it's bad, and he's going to be missing significant time. So do I think the Saints are going to draft Shedeur? Knowing the Saints as a Bucs fan who hates them with my entire soul, and I still have not seen him on the board. Did I pass him? Nope, here he is. Shedeur Sanders, ranked at number 45. Do the Saints draft Shedeur Sanders? They're not really known for drafting quarterbacks. They're really they draft a lot of boring players and best that are just at best available, not really the positions they need, like Marcus Davenport. Dang it, there was another one I'm forgetting about, but they do that a lot. So that's what's kind of preventing me from possibly. No, I think they draft Shedeur Sanders. I think the Saints are desperate for a quarterback because they're still clinging to some semblance of a team. And they're still in that like limbo mode where they don't want to rebuild quite yet. And I think maybe with Shedeur and the hype, the Saints are going to be tricked because I don't think Shedeur Sanders is a good quarterback. All right, now pick 10, Chicago Bears. They are a team that very, very well could be the one to draft Ashton Jeanty. Do they do it? Is the question. They also need a defensive lineman, and Walter Nolan is here. So is Mike Green. I am not sure. I feel like DeAndre Swift doesn't deserve the hate he's been getting as a player that's like, oh, he's not an actual RB1. He can't get it done as an RB1. I feel like he can. And I feel like people aren't giving him the credit he deserves. So, but if not him, the other options are Walter Nolan, Mike Green could be a possibility. So could Malachi Starks. But looking at the picks after the Bears, I think they're going to do it. They're going to draft Jeanty. I think with the new coach, Ben Johnson, coming in, the Bears are a team that's going to be all about young players, hype, offense, and nothing screams that more than drafting Ashton Jeanty. So I'm going to go with the Bears with Jeanty. I need a drink. Give me 1 second. All right. 10 picks down. How are we doing here? Okay. San Francisco, pick 11. This is another one that's super hard because the 49ers are a team that should be better than they actually are and don't have that many holes, but they're just really mid and get injured a lot. However, I am noticing that two of their biggest needs are on the offensive line. And if there's an offensive lineman, there really isn't until like way down the board. So what do we do? They could buff their defense. Wait, I think that actually makes more sense. They buff their defense because they lost both Dre Greenlaw and Talanoa Hufanga this offseason, and I feel like their pick is going to be to replace one of those players. So Mike Green would replace Dre Greenlaw, or they could go for Malachi Starks to replace Talanoa Hufanga. I think they're more likely to go with the edge player instead of the safety, because the safety is considered a risk this high up. So I think 49ers at pick 11 are going to take Mike Green. He's from Marshall, which I've never seen a player be taken that high from Marshall. Wait, did Randy Moss go to Marshall though? I feel like Randy Moss went to Marshall. I gotta look that up. Hang on. I'm gonna make the pick. Randy Moss College. Yeah, I knew it. Randy Moss went to Marshall. Okay. So I think he's the highest. If this is true, he's the highest drafted player from Marshall since Randy Moss, which is really cool. All right, Dallas Cowboys. Everyone thought Dallas would be the team Jeanty went to, and that's kind of sort of the reason why I made him go to the Bears, is because I feel like they'd pick with the Cowboys in mind, thinking they'd want Jeanty and the Bears to come in and take him, because possibly the players on the defensive side would be available for them later. Whereas a talent like Ashton Jeanty isn't going to show up in the later rounds. So now for the Cowboys, they needs are spread out here. What would the Cowboys do? Tyler Warren, I don't see Tyler Warren being taken by the Cowboys. Walter Nolan, could I see going to Dallas? I mean, he's from Ole Miss, and I think Ole Miss and the Cowboys have some connections. Starks, the safety from Georgia. He seems like a high risk pick, but that's one the Cowboys make by looking at his ADP. Jaheim Campbell out of Alabama. That's something I could see the Cowboys doing. Because this is a similar situation the Cowboys were in when they drafted Micah Parsons. This linebacker from a big school. Around this selection, when a player that everyone thought they were going to get was off the board, in that draft that was Patrick Surtain, and they end up settling for a linebacker that has a lot of potential. I think they do it. I think the Cowboys are going to take Campbell. Now the Miami Dolphins are on the clock. All right, they need offensive line, defensive line, and secondary help. All right, DL. I think they would take a lineman if available. Would they take Simmons? I'm not sure if they would take Simmons. Either that or they take Walter Nolan. Gotta think about this. This is something. The Dolphins, they make some picks that don't make sense sometimes. I will admit. Walter Nolan would be the safe pick. However, wait, I think I know what they're going to do. There's been some rumors that the Dolphins are going to lose Jalen Ramsey, and I don't know. I think I've heard my dad talk about this before, that their owner really likes Michigan, and that's why they were tampering with Tom Brady so much. So I think because of those two things, they're going to take Will Johnson, corner, with this pick. I feel good about that. All right, Colts. Now, this is a pick that people are talking about a lot as a potential landing spot for Tyler Warren. But you realize the Colts' defense is completely atrocious. They could have made the playoffs if their defense was somewhat competent. They gave up 40 points to Drew Lock. That's just inexcusable. And I feel like everyone talks about the Colts tight ends aren't good. I feel like, well, that's because their quarterback play was so bad. Like, we really can't judge anything on their offense until they can get a quarterback who can throw over 50%. Because Anthony Richardson is just not that guy. I'm sorry, Colts fans. He is not that guy. So they're not taking Tyler Warren. I think they take one of these two top players, Walter Nolan or Malachi Starks. Do they need more D-line or safety? I would say because they have DeForest Buckner, they also have a couple other good players on D-line. I think they're more worried about the secondary. And Malachi Starks, while he does seem like, at least from what I can see here, is a bit of a risky pick, I think it's one the Colts are going to make. They're going to draft Malachi Starks. All right, next up we have the Falcons. The Falcons. Are they going to do it again? Are they going to draft another offensive player with a weak defense? It was Kyle Pitts, then it was Drake London, then it was Bijan Robinson, and then it was Michael Penix. Do they do it again? There's a chance there is a chance they do. Because why is wide receiver on their needs list? Why is wide receiver on their needs list? I don't understand. They have Drake London. Did Darnell Mooney leave in free agency? Darnell Mooney. No. Darnell Mooney's still here. So I don't really understand why wide receivers are on their need list. But it's like, part of me wants to make them draft Luther Burden just for the joke. Because it's the Falcon thing to do. But it's like, I need to think about what the Falcons' team identity is going to be. Because losing to Bryce Young while scoring 38 points, that would make me want to draft defense. But the Falcons just don't draft defense in the first round. And like, there aren't that many defensive players on this on the best available board. And coming up, there aren't that many teams that need Luther Burden either, which is a reason for them to not pick him. But like, I feel like they're gonna pick Luther Burden. They're gonna go for this hyper offense. Are they? Yeah, are they really about to pick Luther Burden? No, I cannot. There's no way the Falcons are actually gonna do that. Let's just go with. Let's assume the Falcons are a smart football team and draft the best player available. Walter Nolan out of Mississippi. All right, Arizona. Arizona has 3 needs over here. Some teams have 4. They need defensive line. Walter Nolan going to pick before them is a bit of a big blow because I think I would have had him go there. I think they're going to be focused on the offensive line. Most likely. They're going to try to get this core to work because they have this core of Kyler Murray, James Conner, Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride. It's like it should work, but it's not working. Well, for long enough. And I think the only reason for that is the offensive line. And their defenses perform well at points. But I feel like, I feel like the defense is something they can improve later. I see them going for offensive line right now. So we're going to draft Josh Simmons. Even though they need a guard more specifically, I think they'll take Josh Simmons as the best one available to the Cardinals. All right, the Bengals. They genuinely might take Tyler Warren if he falls to them. Because Mike Gesicki, even though he's solid, he's not great. And like the only thing that can make this Bengals offense scarier than it already is Tyler Warren. But everyone knows they need defense. The Bengals know they need defense. People in third world countries know the Bengals need defense. What do they do if that's the case? Do they draft Mr. Izuruwaku out of Boston College? Kenneth Grant from Michigan? Oh, they need defensive line, actually. Yeah, they need defensive line. I feel like these players are something they'd go for here. Yeah, they need more inside help is what this is telling me. Kenneth Grant's from Michigan. Michigan's had a lot of players in this draft, I'm realizing. Whoa, hang on. This linebacker, Jalon Walker. I did not see him on my board. Dude, dang it. This is why I'm not a GM, ladies and gentlemen. I completely did not realize Jalon Walker from Georgia is still on the board. Would I have made a team pick him if I knew he was there? Probably not. Maybe not. Probably not. But I think the Bengals are going to do it. Jalon Walker is at a position of need. If anything, a linebacker has the biggest chance of improving the entire defense. So we're gonna go for that. All right, Seahawks. What is the Seahawks' plan? I genuinely do not know. They trade Geno Smith. They trade DK Metcalf. But they still seem to have. But then they still are in try to win now mode by signing Sam Darnold and signing Cooper Kupp. But point of the matter is they need offensive line. And they need it bad, and they've needed it bad for years. I think they know that. We're going to make them draft Calvin Banks out of Texas. All right, and my Buccaneers are up. I know what the Buccaneers need. The Buccaneers, Mr. Jason Light, if you're listening to this, draft secondary, please. We need more defenders in the secondary. Our secondary got torched all of last season. Who is the... Oh my God, there's no good defensive backs available. Oh my God, this defensive backs class is booty cheeks. What? Yeah, okay. Correct. I did not realize how bad this class was. Will Johnson or Malachi Starks fall. That would be great. But I didn't have them fall. So what do? We don't need offense. We need defense, and we need it bad. We also have a bit of an obsession with drafting people with funny names or funny personalities. We have Cody Mock, who is real life Cletus. We have Yaya Diaby, whose name is an edit. We're no stranger to funny names. Let's add this guy to our team. Maybe help our pass rush a little bit. And if our pass rush is good enough, people won't realize how bad our secondary is. Let's do that. Yeah, I'm realizing how much I'm making Tyler Warren fall, but just straight up, I don't think teams need Tyler Warren. And I don't think they're going to be like, oh, yippee, a tight end. A tight end. We definitely need a tight end right now. K. Dotton, Noah Fant, Mike Gesicki, Trey McBride, Kyle Pitts. Could have made him go to the Colts, but it was too high. Jake Ferguson, George Kittle, Cole Kmet. Like, nobody's drafting Tyler Warren. Like, people have him going so high. But I just don't see it. The Denver Broncos. They need offense, actually. They are just a couple of pieces away from being an insanely competitive team in their conference and in their division. And I think... Are the Broncos about to shock the draft at pick number 20? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Omarion Hampton from North Carolina is going to Denver. They have not gotten the production out of the running game that they've needed. They've cycled through 3 or 4 running backs all season, and the running game's been so inconsistent. They got to get that pressure off of Bo Nix, and I think he will thrive even better in year 2. Now we got the Steelers. What's crazy about the Steelers is that because Aaron Rodgers is an egotistical maniac who loves attention, he has not signed with the Steelers, even though everyone thinks he's going to. Which makes me think that maybe the Steelers will draft a quarterback. The best quarterback available, I believe, is Jackson Dart. But where is Jackson Dart? Oh, he's not even on the page. Can I search by quarterback? Yeah, let me just search by quarterback. Wait, where the hell is Jackson Dart? He's really ranked lower than Riley Leonard, Will Howard, and Jalen Moreau? What? That's not right. But do I have him going to Pittsburgh? They've been in this situation before. It was either this pick or the pick after, where they drafted Kenny Pickett. I wish I knew if the Steelers had a second-round pick or not, because if they had a good second-round pick, I feel like they wouldn't draft a quarterback. But if they But if they don't, I genuinely think they take Jackson Dart here. Yeah, let me see. Steelers draft picks 2025. They have one pick in each of the. They don't have a second round pick. They traded it for DK. I think they're doing it. I think they're going to do it because Aaron Rodgers is a complete not friendly word. I think they're doing it. They're drafting Jackson Dart. They are breaking the draft. They are sending everyone into a frenzy. And now, Chargers, this is your lucky day. The scenario that you've all been dreaming in your head will become reality. You will be the team that selects Tyler Warren. Yes. Tyler Warren will help Justin Herbert out a lot. Will Dissly just was not getting it done in the playoffs. So many drops. I understand that wide receivers are a huge need for them as well, but there is much more chance of getting a better wide receiver in the second round, like you did with Lab McConkey. I think Tyler Warren's got to be the pick. Now the Packers. The Packers are an anomaly as they have a lot of good wide receivers, but they don't have a great one. So, like, do they need one? Do they not need one? They need also edge rushers and corners. They could take James Pierce. Kenneth Grant's still here. He's someone that looks like could be a steal for them, but I don't think they'll do that. I don't think that's a big enough need for them. They have Kenny Clark there. I feel like that's a bigger strength. I feel like they need more, at least more in the secondary or on offense. They could take Matthew Golden. It's tough. I think they're gonna take Pierce because he just fills a better need for them. And I feel like the Packers sometimes reach for players that they need a lot. And they're also the kings of second round receivers anyway, so they're gonna tap into that. Now Minnesota has an incredibly stacked team. They don't have that many holes. And the fact that this is incredibly disrespectful to Aaron Jones. He can get it done. So the Minnesota Vikings, I think, are just going to draft the best player available. I don't think they're going to be going for any sort of need. And the best player available, and also is on this need list, is Kenneth Grant. So we're gonna give them Kenneth Grant. I feel like the Minnesota Vikings usually are great at drafting best player available and getting steals. Like they got Dallas Turner last year, but he's more of an edge guy. Getting some inside help will make the Vikings defense even stronger. So we're gonna draft Kenneth Grant at pick 24. Now the Houston Texans. I just noticed this when I was looking at Minnesota. They need a wide receiver because they lost Stephon Diggs in the offseason. We also don't know what's going on with Tank Dell, if he's even going to be able to play this year. So we're going to take the local hero, Matthew Golden, out of Texas. He's going to be staying in the state. Pretty easy pick there. Now the Rams are on the clock. Could they take Colston Loveland? They need a tight end. They also feel like could use some help on the offensive line because that was a huge reason why they lost to the Eagles in the playoffs. They signed Davante Adams to replace Cooper Kupp in free agency, so I don't think they're that desperate for a wide receiver right now. I think, do they draft the tight end or do they go for I have to think about what the Rams' identity right now is. They're still in win now mode. They re-signed Matthew Stafford. They're making moves on offense. Do they make the move for the tight end? Or they go conservative and draft the tackle out of North Dakota State? You know who else did it? Oh, wait, no, wrong team. I was about to say, Carson Wentz also is from North Dakota State. But that was the Eagles, not the Rams. I don't know why my mind went there. I also don't even know if that's true. Let me just focus on this. Do they make the move for Holston Loveland? Yeah, I think they do. They're an offensive team right now. Take Holston Loveland. They find that last piece of their offense because they're an offense first team. Now the Baltimore Ravens, I don't care what these needs say over here. I know what they need. I know what they do. They just draft wide receivers like the Wazoo. They don't care about anything else. They just want the cool looking wide receiver because they're aura farmers. So Emeka Egbuka is going to go to Baltimore. Oh, get this out of my face. No, not now. Draft. All right, Lions. They need defensive help. There has been some rumors that they might be losing Jameson Williams, but like even if they do, they need defense, and they need it bad. Like that playoff performance last year was just abysmal. Looking down the board, Shamar Stewart out of Texas A&M. People are thinking as a steal. And I know the Detroit Lions, I know Brad Holmes. They have their eyes on guys like this. And they're not scared to take these players higher than expected, like Jahmyr Gibbs. But more often than not, it works out for them. So I'm going to go the same here with Shamar Stewart. All right, Commanders. The Commanders is a tough one. I feel like running back just isn't fair. I feel like Brian Robinson gets it done for them. Secondary is definitely something they need. Don't think they'd draft that edge guy. I feel like they'd be focused more on the secondary because that really is what cost them in the end. Well, aside from everything else. Their secondary got torched quite a bit. So I think they're going to take Amos out of Ole Miss. Buffalo Bills. Oh wait, I lied. I'm gonna do a trade. They're gonna trade with the Chiefs. Just kidding. If it was more than that, if it was more than one pick, like thankfully we don't have to worry about that this year. Buffalo Bills. Bills are another tough team. Is like the hard thing about these tough teams is like, what do we do? I'm surprised why receivers not in need for them because like they just have Khalil Shakir. They lost Matt Collins in free agency, and they didn't get anyone either. It's like it's Khalil Shakir, then Keon Coleman, and Curtis Samuel. Am I forgetting about some? Oh, Amari Cooper. I guess they're okay. Well, I mean, I feel like they gotta boost that rather than the defense. But with them drafting Keon Coleman last year, I feel like they're not ready to do it again. So we're gonna give them the best defensive player available. And by the looks of it, it looks like it's gonna be or do they take a risk? When someone's rank is low but their ADP is high, they're considered a risky pick. What someone a team might do. But I don't think that I already know what I'm doing here. It's a match made in heaven. Absolute match made in heaven. All right, let's wait on that for a second. But we're gonna give them Nick Scortan, best defensive player on the board. The Chiefs. This is one where I know what they're doing. I know what they're doing. I don't have to look at their needs. They're drafting Luther Burden. They're doing it. They're drafting Luther Burden. They'll be like, you fools, you played right into our trap. We finally have good wide receivers again. Rashee Rice, if he stays out of trouble. Xavier Worthy, Luther Burden. No one's stopping this. Also, because they lost DeAndre Hopkins. Even he was a good addition for the time he was there. So they need a replacement for him as well. And Juju, I don't know where Juju is, if he's still on the team or not. But the Eagles, last pick of the first round, you already know. They lost Josh Sweat. That was their biggest loss from the Super Bowl team. You already know their obsession with drafting players from the University of Georgia. It's like, I feel really good about this one. I feel like there's no way they don't do this. Like, it's perfect. And it's considered a steal, too, at the ADP. Wait, I get a grade? I didn't know I'd get a grade. What? Get this pop up off my screen. What? Oh my god. Oh, can I get this off? Stupid pop up thing. Can I like? Is there a way I can like zoom out the tab? Yes. Okay. Big brain. All right, let's take a look. There it is. All right, so yeah, I think we need subscribe to them to get the grade. But it's like, I don't want a grade because I know it's going to be bad. But I'm just doing this for fun. So yeah, I feel good about this. There's really not much else to say. I can't wait to have to look like an idiot on draft night, but I want to give myself more stakes. See how many of these I get right. I made some pretty crazy predictions here. If just a couple of them, just one honestly, from like Ashton Genty to the Bears on comes true, I'll be happy. I'll be really happy. Because like I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't follow that much draft coverage. I don't know who the steals are. I don't know who's considered better by the experts. It's just fun. And like a good draft is one that's unpredictable. And I'm just ranting, I'm just yapping. I hope the stream ended up well. That's it for now. Just yep, I'm proud of my draft. I feel like most of my picks at least have some merit to them. They make some sense. And they have a realistic possibility to happen. I just really, really hope Tetra McMillan goes to the Raiders. That's the one I feel like could break the draft, and I could say, I told you so. But it probably won't happen. One can dream though. Alright. Thanks for tuning in. If you did, I respect you. If not, no worries. I'm just having fun.